Hello everyone, Ladislas Maurice, the Wandering Investor. Today we are in beautiful Luštica in Montenegro, and we are going to have a look at multiple investment lots, plots, so slash land where you can build on, and we'll be doing some preliminary numbers as well. So this will be really investor focused, but as well for people who want to buy and build for themselves.
Absolutely.
So Peter Square Meter, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you? Nice to see you. It's been a while.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
So tell us about the program for today.
Okay, we have a few plots to see in Luštica Peninsula, and we may have a super special bonus one in Tivat, which is really kind of high-end, big numbers. The plots we'll look at here are 100, 200,000 euros. Obviously in Tivat it's going to be a lot more.
Cool, so we'll go see a lot in the end for 2.5 million, but we'll focus on the ones for 200 and 100K initially. So Peter, everyone knows about Tivat, Kotor, Budva, but today we're doing Luštica, which isn't discussed that much. So why?
So I think we've touched on something already. So the plot that we're going to see in Tivat is 2.5 million, whereas the plots we're going to see in Luštica Peninsula are roughly about a third of the price per square meter. So one is value for money, and yet the final sales price is not that much difference to what you can get in Tivat in that area. So you're actually getting...
Once you've built a villa, you mean?
Once you've built a villa, yeah, something like that. You can see, for example, we have Luštica Bay, and the prices there are 8,000 to 12,000 euros per square meter. So a luxury villa outside of that, you're talking probably 3,500 to 5,000 euros a square meter, quite reasonably, for a luxury finish.
So what's interesting about Luštica is that it's really close to Tivat. You're looking at around a 20-minute drive. So you're a 20-minute drive from the airport, from the international airport. There are also international schools at the intersection between Tivat and Luštica, so schooling works well if you have kids. Generally speaking, like you say, it's more affordable, and there's a lot of development happening in this particular part of Montenegro. And long term, there are discussions. All right, I'm just saying discussions, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but of a potential bridge linking Luštica to the mainland, if I can call it this way, close to the Croatian border. So if that were to happen, if there were to be a bridge or a ferry connection, that would be a huge catalyst for the whole peninsula.
I think also we can look at some of the other infrastructure things that are coming to the Luštica Peninsula. So you've got a new road that's being built. We'll pass that later on. That's going to go from Klinci all the way to Luštica Bay. That's really going to speed up the traffic. You'll see, perhaps if we can get some B-roll later on, that the roads around Luštica, they're very, very beautiful and quaint. They're not meant for high speed. They are meant for enjoying the journey. But they have these lovely Luštica dry stone walls and the olive groves and the cypress pines and so on. Infrastructure's coming, and it's better to buy before the infrastructure gets here rather than after, because obviously the prices will go up.
And we'll look at the numbers. They're actually quite attractive if you want to buy and build. All right, so let's go see the first lot.
Let's go.
Lovely.
Not bad, is it? You got a bit of nature here?
It's even getting a bit warm here.
It is.
We are in mid-October in the morning. I needed a little bit of a jacket early on, but now just ready for a nice Mediterranean Adriatic day of not wearing any jacket or sweater.
It's not bad, yeah. You just see the guy here, you missed him actually. He's just gonna go and milk the goats, but you could probably hear them in the background.
Yeah, actually he's here. So the little cow's here, and then the guy's gonna go milk his goats up there, the local farmer. So this is what's really nice about Luštica, is you have this whole kind of rural aspect, really quaint, really peaceful, but you drive 20 minutes away, there's an international airport, and there are multi-billion-dollar developments with massive super yachts. So it's quite unique. And you live in an environment with very low taxes as well. This is why so many people are moving to Montenegro. So Peter, the lots are up here.
We have one lot up here, and then there's another one a few hundred meters just up here on the right.
All right, we're gonna have to climb up there.
We're gonna have to do some scrambling, yeah.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's go scramble. All right, let's do this.
They're amazingly dexterous, these pigs, aren't they? The life of a realtor, huh?
Yeah, I'm impressed, Peter. You're fit.
Yeah, I have to be. But this is my day job. This is me kind of, you can call it my 9 to 5. So it's not bad.
Doing viewings in Montenegro is always fun.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I work at my own pace. We're going to go higher up. I do explain to people that if they do fall, we're not insured. So
good luck suing Peter through the Montenegrin court
Yeah.
system if you fall on a viewing.
yeah. So I do have the disclaimer.
So this lot is 200,000 euros.
Yep.
And it's 1,600 square meters, so it's 124 euros per square meter before negotiations, and you can make 3 lots out of it.
Yeah.
This is a good investment.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about the view here? And this would be the view from the first floor.
This would be your first floor level. Yeah, you would actually come in from the road, garage area, ground floor, first floor, and then actually, if it was me, I'd put a roof terrace on there, you know, with some, I don't know, toys like a jacuzzi or something like that to really enjoy the amazing views. For a developer, money-making thing, it's fantastic. You could do the 3 villas here, or somebody just wants a lot of land and they want to live next to it. There's an organic farm next door. You've got a nice house in 1/3 of an acre, which is pretty cool, surrounded by olive groves with these amazing views. So Portonovi in front of us, you've got the marina here.
Tell us about Portonovi, because this is actually a big deal.
Yeah, Portonovi is a state oil company of Azerbaijan. I think they've invested about 600 million euros into it, maybe up to 1 billion now. Very similar along the lines of Porto Montenegro and Luštica Bay. So you actually have this kind of golden triangle between Porto Montenegro, Portonovi and Luštica Bay in very kind of close proximity. They're attracting these obviously 5-star hotels. This is kind of where Montenegro has actually carved out a niche. I was doing my own videos, and I used to talk about how Montenegro was becoming a luxury destination. And a few years back, it's like, no, it's not becoming. It's become a luxury destination, yes. But it still has a lot of capacity. It's still got a long way to go. You look at things like Luštica Peninsula, which is like a national park. There's so much kind of beauty here, but there are little pockets of areas where developers can develop. You've had interest, for example, like from Ritz-Carlton, Kempinski, Six Senses, I can't remember, but world-leading kind of hotels, these kind of boutique-style hotel operators, and there's more coming, yeah.
So for people that are looking to invest in land and build, this one really is a no-brainer. It will not be complicated to sell your villas with views like this of Tivat Bay. And what's interesting to note is that in summer, there are these little boats that go from down there, from the little villages, to the other side as well. So you don't have to drive around the whole peninsula, back through Tivat, take the ferry, etc. You can just take a little boat across just as a person, not with your car. So, the ferry, the bridge, I mean, if that ever happens, we're talking at least 10, 15 years down the line. But as is, views like this, we're gonna add B-roll of the views that you would get from the second floor of the house. So from your bedroom and then from the terrace on top of the house, the views are absolutely sublime. So let's go into numbers. So 200,000 euros, you can divide this into 3 lots, so about 70,000 euros per lot.
Yep.
And you said per lot we can build how much roughly?
It's actually got an 80% build density, so 80% of, let's say 500, you could build 400 square meters here. I would say that's too big though. If you really wanted to maximize profits, you could do, but I would say that there's a sweet spot which is probably around about 240 square meters. That'll give you 3 or 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, pool, garages underneath, your roof terrace and so on. So I think that would be a sweet spot, because obviously if you want to sell at 4,000 euros a square meter, you times that by 400, it's going to be a lot more. If you're selling it by 240, there's a lot more buyers in that level.
All right, so what are the construction costs here in Montenegro these days for a villa?
I think for a reasonable quality villa, you're looking at 1,500 euros a square meter to 2,000 euros a square meter. Obviously, the difference in price will depend on the finishes and also landscaping. You need to add a budget for landscaping, maybe add about 10%, 20% for landscaping. So you need to think about those. Permitting costs are very low in this area. They're between 75 euros to 120 euros a square meter. We actually looked into this before we came to do the video. I think everything that we're going to look at today is 75 euros per square meter, plus maybe the water charges. I know we actually legalized the house just around the corner, and that cost us 83 euros a square meter, so there might be 75 plus X amount for the water.
All right, so for the numbers, for a single house, let's say 200 square meters, let's run with 2,000 euros a square meter to do slightly higher end, to take into account permitting costs, and to take into account that we are a little bit further away from Tivat and the like, and construction companies typically demand a bit of a premium to build on Luštica compared to other parts. So 2,000 euros a square meter, total build cost, you're at around 400,000 euros. let's add 50,000 euros for architect, for the pool, for the garage, for buffer, etc. So 450,000 euros to build a villa. The land per lot comes down to 70,000 euros, so you're all in about 520,000 euros to build the house on one lot. So if I have a house like this, and I tell you, Peter, sell it, how much can I sell it for?
800,000, something like that. That's quite an easy thing. I think the worst case scenario would be 750, but I can't think of anything that would be like this that you could get for 750. And on a good day, with EU integration, it's a future story or whatever, but it could easily get up to €1 million. This would be €1 million type of villa for sure. So, but I think very conservatively 750.
I feel comfortable saying 800,000. That would be 4,000 euros a square meter, which is standard now in Tivat for normal apartments, new apartments. So an actual standalone villa with views like this and a garage, etc. 800,000, I feel very comfortable stating this. So if you were to sell it for that price, it would be a gross profit of over 50%. Now you need to take into account realtor fees when you sell, taxes, etc. So probably you're in the ranges of 35% or so, roughly. But also if prices continue to rise with EU accession and further development on the peninsula, then that's all extra profit margin. So if you want to just buy a place for yourself and design it according to your own wishes, because there is, let's face it, there is a lack of inventory in Montenegro of nice villas with proper Western finishes. I think that's an
100%. Yeah.
That's an understatement.
Yeah. We've just sold one actually, and we sold it before it was finished. Yeah, so it was just snapped up. Yeah, so not even on the market.
Cool. So this is a bit of a no-brainer of an investment, and I love the fact that there's a little organic farm next door. You have pigs and cows and goats and chickens. Personally, I have a farmhouse here in Montenegro, and then I just go to the neighboring farmers and I just buy meat from them, eggs, all of that, just cash, and I just get the freshest meat and eggs, and it's great. So I'm pretty sure if you live here, you have your villa, you can just go to the guy next door and just pay for your eggs, pay for your meat. When you hear that he's slaughtering a pig, you can go knock at his door.
Then it's fresh, for sure.
It's fresh.
Yeah. I'm not sure how my vegan wife would like that, but for me, I like my bacon, so not a problem.
Cool, great. So now we're going to go look at a lot right down the road for 100,000 euros.
100,000. There's even another one which we can pass, but let's not bother with it today. But we've got another one which is in between the prices, 150,000, where you could build 2 villas. It's a similar location to this, so just think of these views, slightly different orientation because you'd be building one villa on top of another, whereas this is very simple, side by side, so really getting these amazing views.
All right, so let's try to go down, and going down is always tougher than going up, eh?
Apparently, yeah. I don't know. I've never gone up, so.
All right, let's go. Nice, eh? This is the Montenegro I like.
Yeah, and do you see the guy before? He went with a big can, stainless steel can, to go and milk the goat. Yeah, you can start with the goat's milk yogurt and finish on a goat leg curry.
So Peter, what are we looking at here?
We have a plot of 300 square meters. It's 100,000 euros. You have a build density of 80% over 2 levels, but I would say that you don't need to kind of go that big. I think that takes you to 240 square meters. So you can probably do 3 levels as well here. You can see where my car is parked and the buildings are there. They could probably be considered as subterranean, which is then not affecting the gross build area. So you could do a subterranean level plus 2 levels with these amazing views looking right over Portonovi, Tivat Bay, Biela Shipyard and Porto Montenegro and the mountains, Lobchen Mountain and so on and so forth. Farmhouse, amazing.
Look, I mean, think of where you're from and compare what 100,000 euros or $110,000 gets you for a lot, and in terms of views and all of that. Compare this. Do you think this is a decent deal? This is the question you need to ask yourself. I think that in 90% of cases, the answer would be yes. And especially if you're looking for a safe place to put your money, this view isn't going away. So, with everything that's going on in the world, this here 100,000 euro view feels like more. It's right on the road, so it's easy in terms of build, in terms of connections to electricity, etc. No drama, no issues. And you're invested in a peninsula that has a lot of growth as well. So we were having the discussion before, they're actually building a school here in Radovici, right?
Yeah, they're going to build a new school in Radovici. Going back to Luštica Bay, the people there are in the business of making towns. They built El Gauna. They've got a big development in Switzerland as well. So part of their philosophy would be to make a town, incorporate it with a kind of local town as well. And as you mentioned here before, kind of birth rate is high for Europe. The population is growing, the economy is growing, GDP is good. This beauty isn't going to go anywhere. And by the way, I'd kind of correct you on one thing. I wouldn't say it's a €100,000 view. I think this is $1 million view, but only for 100,000.
And about the fertility rate, Montenegro has Europe's second highest fertility rate in Europe after Kosovo, if you even consider that to be a country. But this is the highest fertility rate in Europe, really. And it's locals, it's like ethnic, it's not immigrants, etc. So when you go around Montenegro, you see a lot of children, etc. It's actually a very pleasant place. And a lot of the demographic pressure is concentrated on the capital city, Podgorica, and the whole coast. So this area will continue to grow. And now we're going to go check out another lot. Full disclaimer, this is your own personal lot that you're selling, right?
It is. It's one of the first things that I bought in Montenegro. It's 3,000 square meters, so 3/4 of an acre. It's unusual that you can only build one house there, so you can build up to 400 square meters, so 200 residential, 200 annex, but effectively be part of the residential unit. And yeah, I spent half an hour or so on ChatGPT and came up with a Mies van der Rohe inspired Farnsworth house, and it is amazing. It's absolutely beautiful.
Okay, so look, when a realtor is selling literally his own property, I always take things with a pinch of salt.
Which I've held on to for 18 years.
So let's go there and let's just be very cognizant of who's selling right now.
Yeah, and I don't mind keeping it either, so don't worry. And my wife would like to keep it, so that's it.
All right, let's check it out. So Peter, prices have gone up a lot around Tivat, Budva, Kotor, but Luštica has been lagging a bit.
Luštica, the planning has changed a little bit, but the main emphasis has been really on Tivat. Tivat has been going kind of great guns, certainly over the last 4 or 5 years. A catalyst obviously being Porto Montenegro. So, but I think that we're now kind of due to have a lot more interest, especially with Luštica Bay getting much more to that kind of critical mass stage. The golf course is getting kind of done. They're getting the first 5 holes. They're going to have 9 and 12 and 18 eventually. If you're comparing their villas, which are between 2 and 4 million euros, to buying a piece of land here for 100,000, 150, 200,000, and then building your own villa, which will be like a unique kind of signature villa, I think there's a lot to say for that. And bearing in mind that if you're going to buy a villa in Luštica Bay, you're going to pay 20,000 euros a year in the homeowners association for them to mow the kind of the lawns and the road and so on and so forth, not do anything for the house. So you could actually have your own house here, and 20,000 euros a year buys you a lot of meals in Luštica Bay. So that could be interesting.
I think it's a classic case of the tier 1 destinations going up in price first, and now Luštica is more of a tier 2, and I think this is the next place for prices to really increase. So from a pure investment point of view, from a capital growth point of view, I think Luštica is a great play. In terms of rental yields, there is a lot less year-round demand here.
This is the start of the new road, by the way.
Oh, really? New road, eh?
Yeah, so there's going to be a road from here, so you can see like Herceg-Novi Bay, all the way to Luštica Bay, the development.
So look, infrastructure development, as an investor, I like this. We're talking about tier 2. It's not just talk, it's actually happening. There is government infrastructure that is literally being built before our eyes. So definitely a capital appreciation play. Again, like I was saying, I don't think the rental yields are going to be as good here as they are in Budva or in Tivat, but often there's more money to be made in capital appreciation. And I'm not saying you won't be able to rent out your place. I mean, in summer, it'll be a full house for sure. And then you can find some year-long rentals as well for people that, put their kids at school and stuff.
I think that people are happy to get a gross of about 6%, which is going to net them maybe 3%. In my experience, where the money has been made is actually in the capital gains over the years of ownership. Here, you're going to have good money for the summer holidays, villa rentals, which is going to be great. You're not going to do the all year round stuff, although there is a demand for people sending their kids to the international schools looking for 2, 3, 4 bedroom villas.
There's a lack of supply of nice villas here in the whole Kotor, Tivat Bay area. There are kind of old school villas, but really nice ones, not that much. And there on the other side, as you see, there's a little peninsula that's actually Croatia. It's such a beautiful part of the world. I mean, that's why I spend a few months every year in Montenegro. I travel around the world full time. I could literally be anywhere I want in the world, and yet Montenegro is potentially my preferred spot.
I'm just going to take you down here. You can see where the crane is. And this is where they have a big infrastructure kind of development. So this is a massive development for water. You can see this is pretty much the header tank for Rosse to give it the water pressure.
So because right now there's no government water, you need to put like some cisterns, some tanks rather, on the homes.
Yeah, pretty much the whole of Luštica Peninsula is a rainwater harvesting, and they do it successfully. Then when you're building a house, you build a water tank to go with it as well. The city water is coming now, so I think you'll probably still have to do the septic tank or the biodisc kind of for the waste, but and usually that's kind of quite environmentally friendly.
So again, prices have absolutely not risen as much as they have in Kotor, in Tivat, and Budva, and yet you're seeing all this infrastructure development. It's happening. It's not just plans. It's happening. They're building all the water stuff. They're building the roads. Prices are going to rise here.
Do you know an interesting thing? What I was told by, I think it was a junior minister of finance and tourism, and he was saying that they had made a mistake because, for example, they had attracted big hotel operators like Ritz-Carlton, and I think Kempinski was interested, and Four Seasons and so on, but they realized that they hadn't built the infrastructure, so some of those developers were a bit nervous. Now I think their plan is that they want to build the infrastructure, raise the prices, and then talk to these people like Ritz-Carlton again and get a higher price and just say, look, you're asking about infrastructure, the road, water, electricity, is all there.
Do what you will with this information. So we were in the car, and Peter Square Meter's wife was busting his phone. Oh, when are you coming back for lunch? And he was answering, blah, blah. And then Peter was like, oh, let's go get coffee here on the way.
Yeah. So here we are, yeah.
So here we are.
This is Rosse.
Yeah.
So most people, when they see the name, they'll call it Rose, but the language is phonetic. So R-O-S-E, Rosse, yeah.
This is one of my favorite areas to go spearfishing around here, actually. Really beautiful. And Luštica is peppered with cute little villages like this, fishing villages on the coast.
So this is interesting. You mentioned kind of like ferry boats and so on, but already you have a little boat here called Loro that goes to Herceg-Novi from Rosse twice a day. I think you'd even charter it for, I think it used to be like 25, 30 euros just to take you there. But it goes in the morning and the afternoon, comes back for the school kids to go to Herceg-Novi for school.
Look, we're in the late morning here. It's a work day. All the men, they probably have contracts. They're probably plumbers, electricians. They probably have a bunch of clients waiting for them. It's one of the disadvantages of Montenegro. It's a bit hard to, when you have renovations, etc., you're always chasing people around. So it's important to just hire an architect or a project manager to deal with the project. It's a country where operationally it's a little hard to get things done because, I mean, right, you just get distracted,
yeah.
You go for work, and then like Peter, who's been here for what, almost 2 decades,
yeah.
You know, you suddenly lose track of things, and
sure.
And
I
here
could
we are.
mix my business with pleasure, so I've got my local cafe where I sit down and do my emails and so on. So I actually take the dog for a walk, have a coffee, and then mix the two together. But yeah, you can't blame them.
Yeah, no, we're not blaming them, yeah. So yeah, it's easy to get distracted here in Montenegro. Look, in terms of prices, I like doing this. Espresso, 2 euros. You took the one with milk, so that was 2.50. And a large beer, 4 euros. I'd say that prices are up about 50 to 70% compared to pre-COVID. Still pretty affordable compared to the rest of Europe, especially when you take into account this setting. If you take a setting like this in the south of France or even in Croatia, you'd be paying a lot more. This is the sort of lifestyle that you can have. Well, talking of pizza, this is what a €9 pizza looks like. Look, is it going to win awards? No, but it gets
Is it going to taste good? Yes.
It'll It'll do the job. So essentially this is the sort of lifestyle that you can have on Luštica. You can just chill here, you can work, the internet's pretty fast, international airport, port to Montenegro, international school, supermarkets. It's all a 25-minute drive away from here. All right, cheers, Peter.
Cheers.
All right, what are we looking at here, Peter?
This is your average, probably Russian oligarch kind of super yacht. But the interesting thing is, you see the boat behind? That's probably the boat for the toys and the kitchens and the staff and so on. That's probably the auxiliary boat to go with this boat.
Welcome to Montenegro. All right, so we're driving and Peter Square Meter mentioned another lot that he has here. Peter, I don't know, this is gradually turning into Peter Square's...
It's the Peter show, yeah? Yeah.
We're showing all your lots.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about this one here.
Very quickly, 400 square meters. We think it's 80% build ratio. We just need to update the technical conditions. The view is phenomenal. So you're west facing over Mamila and Prevlaka, which is Croatia. Sunsets all year round. Great development. Ideal for a signature kind of villa.
How much?
160,000.
All right, so there's no realtor commission here, so you can probably negotiate a bit harder.
The prices are going up, they're not going down, yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's go.
So you're getting a cost price, yeah. Yeah.
Let's go see the big one now.
Yeah. So we're going, you see where the blue house is?
Yeah.
We'll probably drive there because you're going to have the better views, but we can actually go to my plot. And that's the other house that was in front of the other one before. Cool. Cars. So the plot is here, it's just over there on the right hand side. It's 3,000 square meters, 200,000 euros. We're able to build a 200 square meter house and 200 square meters of auxiliary building, which can be used for living as well. So 400 square meters on a 3/4 of an acre plot. It really suits this kind of signature kind of property. I spent, I don't know, an hour on ChatGPT and I said, look, give me some Mies van der Rohe inspired house. So he came up with something looking like the Farnsworth house, which is absolutely beautiful. And this kind of plot, I think the dimensions are something like 50 meters by 60 meters or thereabouts. It would actually suit a property which is potentially 25 meters long or something like that, which gives you this long, sleek, kind of elegant look with a big, long lap pool in front of it, maybe a 20 meter by 3 meter pool in front of it. I think the slope's around about 15 degrees, so a nice gentle slope. We've got the views over here of the bay opening into the mouth of Herceg-Novi and over to the left to the Adriatic. And of course, we've got the sunsets all year round. So quite a spectacular location. This is the new road to go to Luštica Bay. So you're going to have quick access. So you
can hear them working on it right now.
Yeah. You've got the yellow diggers over here sort of working on it, and they're making quite decent progress. But even on the old road, you're, I think, about 15, 20 minutes from Luštica Bay. Obviously, you're going to have all the kind of luxury facilities there, spas, hotels. They're pretty much going to open the golf course soon. First 5 holes, then it'll be up to 9 holes, and then eventually 18 holes. So championship golf course, lots of facilities behind.
So either you target a very specific niche buyer and you know exactly what you're going for. You don't want to build anything too generic here, or it's a lifestyle, just a lifestyle play.
Yeah, to give you a comparison, we actually had a client that was looking at villas in Luštica Bay. Those villas were, I think, 2.2 million. But what irked him was the 20,000 euros a year homeowners fee. And he's like, well, for €1 million, I can buy the plot, build my dream house to my specifications and my design and my interior and so on and so forth, not have to worry, and 20,000 euros, I can spend that in Luštica Bay on fancy restaurants and so on. So people saying like buying in this part of Luštica Bay is like investing in the Amalfi Coast maybe 20, 30 years ago. So it's quite a moment.
All right, let's go now to Tivat and go check out that 2.5 million lot.
Yep, let's go. Yeah, so this is when we're back at the other plots with the Luštica Pavilion. We'll talk about the new road going through Luštica. So basically it's an extension of this road. So this road goes from the main road pretty much. You can see the roundabout above here to the right. There's a beautiful beach here called Plavi Horizonti. So we're talking about something built of this quality, which is going to take you all the way to the other side of the Luštica Peninsula, to Klinci, which is above Rossi.
All right, here we are.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about this place here. This is a unique opportunity here, right in Tivat. This is the prime location in the whole of Tivat. It's the upper part of Donja Lastva. So this is 5,000 square meters. It consists of an existing house, which has been completed 80%. I think it needs maybe another 200,000 or 300,000 euros to be put into it or whatever to make it much more appealing, give it more curb appeal. You have a similar size, if not bigger, building which can go below. Each of these properties are a base of 120 square meters on 3 levels, so 360. And I think they missed a trick on this one here because you could actually do a basement as well. So you could actually do another 3 houses like this of 480 square meters. And in this plot as well, in this area, you also have 2 other stone cottages which can be renovated to the existing size. That's down to the kind of the planning laws.
So what's the total price point?
Total price point for everything is 2.5 million.
All right, so let's say I take this existing villa, I finish it, I add 300,000 euros to make it look nicer. There's even an elevator inside.
Yeah.
How much would that go for in the current market?
Current market price is between 2.2 and 2.5 million.
So essentially you take 2.5, you add an extra 300K, you resell it, you've recuperated most of your money, and then you still have 3 lots and 2 stone houses to renovate.
That's it. Those are the numbers.
Thanks, Peter.
Yeah.
So I wrote a whole article on the real estate market here in Montenegro, the areas that are interesting, the areas that you should avoid, some key learnings as well. There is a link below. And if you want to get in touch with Peter Square Meter, so Peter Square Meter is the #1 expert when it comes to Kotor Bay. So Kotor, Herceg Novi, Tivat, and Luštica Bay. Feel free to get in touch with him. We've done a bunch of deals in the past together.
Yeah, we've done a lot.
I bought from you, you helped me sell.
Yeah.
So there's also a link below.
Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. Thanks for watching.
Make sure to download my free ebook, 12 Mistakes to Avoid When Investing in International Real Estate, which you can find on my website, link below. And feel free to follow me on Instagram @TheWandering Investor. I look forward to hearing from you.